Okay, here I'm drawing in the stones for this arch, my current work in progress. And I'm working on this arch here. Now I can see, actually taking the film, that this was my middle point. It took me a while to measure out all of the different stones and get them centered, but I'm wondering now if the arch isn't quite archy enough. Which is another reason why it's good to photograph your work. It's like using a mirror in that you can see the thing with a fresh eye. So the whole thing started this morning because I usually start off, after not seeing the art overnight or sometime, I'll go in and walk and see it and do my best to just turn around and see it for the first time as if I've never seen it. And then I can feel what instinct bothers me. And the thing that bothered me this morning was that the far stones on the other side of the bridge seemed too small compared to the ones in the front. And so I looked back at my original photograph, which is what I'm working from. You can see that the printout here is not very good. It doesn't show any contrast, plus I don't know why they gave me a print with such horrible ink running out. But anyway, it doesn't matter. I was using it for the shapes for this side yesterday. And whatever. So when I put the image on my computer and looked, I could see I didn't have this long enough, because even though this is a straight line, because the inside of the arch has the architecture on the outside hidden, so meaning under these stones here there is a flat plastered area. So I needed these to be taller, but then of course it reduced the space too much. And then of course when I looked again, I thought, oh wait, I'm missing the third dimension, the depth of these stones. So I put that in, and that makes this negative space even smaller. So do you see how correcting one thing leads to correcting several different other things? And this may end up being too tall here, because this is too small. But it's kind of like chasing your tail, except that I'm not chasing my tail, because when I decide that, oh, I've got to have space here, I think I was happy with this original space, although I may put in a more little rock and roll curvy there and curvy there, and that may gain me the space that I need. However, when I get overwhelmed by things because I know something's wrong, and then I think, oh, that's too large, that's too small, what's this, what's that, I always try to simplify it into a yes or no question. Meaning, all right, these were too small. Were they too small, or was something else too large? So do you see what I'm trying to get at? And then I was happy with these to some point, although, you know, like I said, now I'm seeing that the arch is not quite archy. I can change that easily enough because I've seen it. But the thing is, when I started adding this section, oh, well, this is getting too small. Okay, so now the question isn't, this is too small, because I could have been making a mistake with that area. Now it gets to be, is this large or that? So in answering the question, it always gets to be, instead of chasing my, oh, this is too large, this is too small, that's too large. Okay, start making relationships. Make a relationship between this to the height of this, for example. Okay, make a relationship to this, to the height. Make a relationship to the width. Make a relationship from this to the bridge here, to something else in the composition. The more relationships that you make, the more you narrow down what's not working, and then you figure out, okay, what is it to change? In my case, it seems that I never have just one thing to change. It seems it's a little of this and a little of that, but you know, it's okay. And the thing is, I'm actually trying to move a little bit out of realism, although I keep finding it difficult because, one, my training is that, and two, I get fascinated by all the little details, especially in charcoal. I find it amazing what you can do with dust. So there is that, but I do want to keep this much looser, and I want it to not look so much like a photograph that people say, oh, it looks like a photograph. Okay, I want it to look like a drawing, which is why when I was doing this area here, I was trying to keep all of this stuff very strokey, very rough, very loose. Do you see, I'm trying to get into mark making, because if you see it from a distance and you say, oh, it looks like a photograph, all right, but now when you walk in, I want you to be able to see it's absolutely a drawing, okay? And so for here, these are the stairs that are going up over this bridge, and the canal is right here. I don't know how much detail I want to put in. I want to put in the vertical line, the horizontal lines here, so that you know it's a staircase, but I don't want to necessarily even put in all the little angles defining which is a stair and which is a side plane. So there is that. Right now what I've been doing is applying in horizontal lines with my anitrum the lines implying the staircase. I'm sort of paying attention to the distance that I'm putting between these lines, letting them recede as it gets farther away, letting them get closer together as the staircase moves away from the viewer. But mostly what I'm doing is darkening the tone in this. But still, why not multitask? So the bridge here is going to be made up of tiny little bricks. So in that case, I would put in tiny little texture, okay? And then here, this is going to be the building, larger texture. I may scrunch this in like this to put the color in, but I'm probably more likely to dip my brush into some powder from sharpening my sticks, put that in there. But also I'm going to use a different texture to a different even direction for it, because the bricks are going to be larger here. But I want this to be dark in this shadow and then light coming out here. But see that it's the transition of tone that's going to keep this interesting. I've got light hitting this from lights that are over here, and this is the main light source. So everything that's going to see this light is going to be lighter. However, when I get into this area, you've got the shadow, the bridge and the canal are blocking some of the light from hitting this, so this needs to be darkened. This probably has a light coming from behind the corner here, and also it's interesting to have this being a very strong shadow from the building, and then you have a little bit of light, but it's not going to be really, really contrasty, because that's going to compete with this circle of attention here, that's this area. And then also this is lighter too, and I think in the photograph this is lighter because there's a street light right up above this arch that would be shining down on this. But again, I don't want this to be brighter than that section, because that'll take your eye. I want your eye to be traveling, but I don't want it to forget what's the point of interest, okay? Thanks for watching. This is Kelly Borsheim at BorsheimArts.com. You can also find me on Patreon.com /Kelly Borsheim. I'm on YouTube, obviously. Like and subscribe this video. Share it if you like. Learn from it. Comment. I would love all that stuff. And thank you for watching. Ciao, ciao. What do you think of this? We lost electricity, so now I'm using my phone and my light, and I'm going to keep working until my battery's gone. Isn't that fun? It's coming along though. It's a little too contrasty, but oh, it's a lot too contrasty. But I tend to do that, over-exaggerate, and then I have to block it down. I keep trying to say, let me put it in the right tone at the right time, but I tend to like the higher contrast in general. So, I hope your storms keep you going one way or the other. Ciao, ciao. Kelly Borsheim at BorsheimArts.com. Oops, there goes the light.